Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went in there? Or noticed names and details slipping your mind more often than they used to? If that's happening to you, you're not alone. And it's not just getting older. Some of these slips might be signals from your brain, gently tapping you on the shoulder to say, hey, something needs to change. After 50, our brains need extra care. Just like we pay more attention to our joints or eyesight, our minds deserve the same love and attention. It's often not just age causing fogginess, forgetfulness, or mental fatigue. Sometimes, small, seemingly harmless habits slowly wear down our brain power. That's exactly what we're diving into today. These aren't complicated scientific theories or things you need a specialist to fix. These are simple, everyday routines that might be doing more harm than good. Small shifts that make a big difference in how sharp, focused, and mentally energized you feel. Let's talk about the first habit quietly hurting your brain without you realizing it. It's a typical morning. You pour a cup of coffee, maybe check your phone, scroll through emails or social media, flip on the TV for news, all before a real conversation with another human being. Sound familiar? That brings us to habit number 1, not engaging in regular, meaningful conversation. It's easy to overlook, but human connection is one of the most powerful ways to keep the brain active and sharp. When we stop engaging in thoughtful conversation, when we spend most of our day alone, reacting to screens instead of people, we slowly lose some of those mental muscles we used to use without thinking. Conversation challenges the brain. It forces us to recall memories, respond with emotion, listen, and adapt all at once. Think about the last time you had a really good talk with a friend or family member, one where you laughed, or got into a deep topic, or shared a memory from years ago. That's your brain lighting up. That's mental exercise in action. What can you do if you live alone or don't have regular visitors? Simple changes can help. Call someone on the phone instead of texting, join a small local group that meets weekly, or strike up a short conversation at the grocery store or walking trail. These little connections matter more than most realize. They're not just good for the heart, they're fuel for the brain. Now let's move to another sneaky habit, not getting enough high-quality sleep. Sleep has become almost like background noise in today's world. We're told how important it is, but many treat it like a luxury rather than a necessity. If you say, I've always been fine with just 5 or 6 hours, it's time to rethink that. As we age, our sleep patterns naturally change. We may have more trouble falling asleep or wake up during the night more often, but accepting poor sleep as normal can take a toll on your brain. During deep sleep, especially stages 3 and 4, your brain goes to work. It clears out toxins, consolidates memories, and resets itself for the next day. Without deep sleep, your brain doesn't get the cleaning it needs. It's like never taking out the trash. And the scary part? Chronic sleep deprivation, even just missing an hour or 2 of sleep per night, has been linked to a higher risk of cognitive decline and even Alzheimer's. So what can you do? Set a bedtime and stick to it, even on weekends. Wind down with a routine that doesn't involve screens. Read a book, take a warm shower, listen to calming music. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. And don't ignore the signs if you're constantly waking up tired. Talk to your doctor about possible sleep disorders like sleep apnea, which often go undiagnosed in people over 50. Once you start treating sleep as brain care and not just a break, you'll notice how much clearer, sharper, and more energized your mind feels every single morning. These first 2 habits, avoiding meaningful conversation and neglecting proper sleep, might seem harmless, but they chip away at your brain health. The good news? You're in control. Recognize these habits and start shifting toward better ones. You don't have to do everything perfectly overnight. Just begin noticing and choosing better one day at a time. Let's keep going, because there's another habit that's sneakier and shows up in ways you might not expect. It creeps in slowly, often masked as something helpful, productive, or even responsible. But this habit can have one of the biggest impacts on your brain: constant multitasking. You might be thinking, isn't multitasking a good thing? Doesn't it mean I'm getting more done? That's the trap. We've been taught that doing multiple things at once is a sign of efficiency, especially if you've raised kids, worked full-time, or cared for others. You learned how to juggle it all, but the truth is, the brain doesn't actually multitask. It switches rapidly from one task to another, and that switch, over and over, uses a lot of mental energy. When you're constantly flipping between checking your phone, answering emails, watching the news, tidying the kitchen, and mentally rehearsing your to-do list, it puts your brain into a low-level state of stress. It's like a browser with 20 tabs open. None of them load properly, everything's slow, and eventually the whole thing crashes. Over time, this habit doesn't just make us feel scattered, it can affect memory, concentration, and our ability to focus deeply for more than a few minutes. Studies show chronic multitaskers perform worse on tasks requiring attention and recall. They're more likely to get distracted and less likely to retain new information. How do you shift out of multitasking? Start with one word: presence. Be fully present for the task at hand, even if it's something simple like folding laundry or making tea. Slow down and enjoy the moment. Turn off background noise if it's not adding value. Put your phone in another room when reading or working on something important. If you have a lot to do and feel overwhelmed, try this trick. Set a timer for 20 minutes and focus on one thing. No interruptions, no switching tasks. You'll be amazed at how refreshing it feels to give your brain the gift of single focus again. It might feel strange at first, almost too quiet, but that's your brain breathing again. Now, let's talk about something less obvious, but just as powerful. It's a habit that doesn't seem like a big deal at first. Many people don't even think of it as a habit at all. But replaying negative thoughts or holding on to resentment can wear down your mental clarity and well-being in ways that show up as forgetfulness, low energy, and even anxiety. Have you ever found yourself reliving an argument from years ago, or thinking about something someone said to you long after the moment passed? Maybe you've told yourself a story over and over about how someone hurt you or how things should have gone differently. These mental loops might feel like processing, but often they're just rehearsing pain. The brain is incredibly powerful, and it doesn't always know the difference between something happening now and something you're vividly imagining. When we replay painful moments, our bodies respond with the same stress hormones as if it were happening again. Cortisol rises, inflammation increases, and the brain suffers, especially in areas tied to memory and emotional regulation. This doesn't mean you should ignore your feelings or pretend everything's fine, but learning to gently interrupt those thought loops can help your brain stay calm and balanced. When you catch yourself dwelling, try saying, "That moment is over, I'm safe now," or shift your focus to something physical. Stand up, stretch, go outside, breathe deeply. Change your body and your mind will often follow. Another powerful habit, journaling just for a few minutes a day. Writing your thoughts down, especially the ones you don't want to carry, gives them a place to go. Over time, this practice clears mental clutter, making room for clarity, creativity, and calm. When you let go of the mental weight, your brain thanks you by functioning more clearly. It's like opening the windows and letting in fresh air. You feel lighter, think faster, and sleep better. You start living more in the present moment, where peace, joy, and sharp thinking actually live. These daily habits, multitasking and replaying negative thoughts, might seem unrelated, but they share a common thread. They divide your mind. And a divided mind is a tired mind. The more scattered we feel, the more drained our brain becomes. But here's the beautiful part. Your brain is always ready to bounce back. It's never too late to choose better habits, and every time you make a shift, you're rewiring your brain for clarity, focus, and joy. There's one more habit that might be draining your mental sharpness, one most people don't realize they've been doing for years. It's probably the most overlooked habit of them all. You might think of it as harmless or just part of the routine, but the truth is, it sneaks into your daily life and slowly dulls your mind. I'm talking about not challenging your brain with new and meaningful learning. Now, before you say, "I'm too old for that," or "I already know enough," hear me out. This isn't about going back to school or picking up a textbook. It's about staying curious, staying mentally active, giving your brain something new to chew on, something that lights up those parts of your mind that thrive on challenge and discovery. After 50, many of us fall into a comfortable rhythm. We know what we like and stick to routines, avoiding unfamiliar things. That's not laziness, it's normal. But when our days look the same and we don't stretch our minds, our brain shifts into autopilot. It begins to prune away the neural connections it thinks we don't need. Over time, that can make us feel slower, foggier, and less motivated. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you stop using it, it gets weaker. But if you challenge it, it wakes up. You don't have to learn calculus to do it. Even small changes make a big difference. Take a different route on your walk. Try cooking a recipe from another culture, learn a few new words in another language, play a strategy game or puzzle, read a book that challenges your beliefs. And here's the key, make it meaningful. Watching hours of TV or scrolling on your phone might feel like mental activity, but it's often passive. It doesn't require engagement or decision-making. On the other hand, having a thoughtful conversation, writing a personal story, or trying to solve a problem with your own two hands. That's where the magic happens. That's where your brain says, okay, I'm needed here, and it comes alive. One of the best things you can do, learn something new that excites you and scares you a little. Maybe you've always wanted to play an instrument or garden or start a blog. You don't have to master it. Just begin. Even 5 minutes a day builds stronger neural connections, improves memory, and sparks creativity. And those small sparks can turn into a fire. It's never about being perfect. It's about staying engaged with life and staying curious. That's the real secret to maintaining a sharp, happy brain at any age. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've talked about today. These 4 habits: avoiding meaningful conversation, not getting quality sleep, constant multitasking, replaying negative thoughts, and not challenging your mind are things we all fall into. There's no shame in that. But once you start becoming aware of them, you're already halfway to changing them. And the best part? It doesn't take a total life overhaul. You don't need a long to-do list, just 1 moment of awareness a day. One small shift, one choice to speak instead of scroll, to walk in silence instead of multitask, to pause that negative thought and say, I'm done carrying this, or to open a book instead of the same old app. Those moments add up, and your brain notices. You might not feel the difference overnight, but keep going, keep showing up for your mind, and slowly you'll feel it. More clarity, more confidence, more connection with others and yourself. Remember, your brain is not in decline, it's in transition. Transitions are powerful. They're a chance to reset, to grow, to live with intention instead of habit. You deserve that. You've lived long enough to know what matters. Now's the time to protect it. If this video gave you new things to think about, or if you recognized habits you want to shift, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're working on. We're all learning together. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We're building a community here. Age isn't a limitation, it's an invitation to live even better. Here's to clarity, to growth, to a sharp, powerful mind. At 50, 60, 70 and beyond, you've got this, and I'm cheering you on every single step of the way.